these rookies have put on quite a season, and it's not just Cailtin and Angel. Rickea Jackson and other rookies are killing it this year.
Caitlin Clark fans are in an uproar. Why? WNBA Commissioner Cathy Englebert might be getting fired. But here's the twist. Some fans are celebrating while others are furious. What's going on in the WNBA that's got everyone so worked up?
Absolutely lived up to expectations, exceeded them much. Yeah, and you mentioned all the revenue drivers. We also signed a historic media deal since.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more...
We have now about 17% of our players born outside the United States, so we're kind of globalizing our player population.
You know what's crazier? This whole situation could change everything for Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey. Yeah, you heard that right. Some people think Englebert leaving could be a game changer for the entire league. But why? Imagine this. The WNBA's future hanging in the balance, all because of some comments the commissioner made. It's like a sports drama unfolding right before our eyes. And Caitlin Clark, she's caught right in the middle of it all. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this matters so much. We're talking about the future of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's career, and maybe even how we watch women's basketball. Ready to find out what's really going on? Let's dive in. The future of women's basketball hangs in the balance, and it all comes down to a shocking statement from the top. What did WNBA Commissioner Cathy Englebert say that has players, fans, and even Caitlin Clark caught in the crossfire? The answer might surprise you, and it's causing tremors throughout the entire league. Englebert dropped a bombshell when she suggested that rivalries are good for the league.
We do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion as kind of cultural icons.
True.
And when you have that, you have a lot of attention on you. There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch.
And that players should ignore Twitter. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. These comments set off a firestorm in the WNBA community, with players and fans alike calling for Englebert's removal. Why such a strong reaction? Well, imagine you're Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese facing a constant barrage of criticism and harassment on social media. Now, your league's commissioner tells you to just brush it off. It's like telling a firefighter to ignore the flames. Englebert's words came across as tone-deaf and lacking empathy for the very real challenges these young stars face every day. But here's where it gets complicated. Englebert isn't just focused on player welfare, she's got her eye on the bottom line. Her business-first mentality has led to record profits for the WNBA. She's scheduling games and promoting rivalries in a way that's bringing in more fans and more money. Sounds good, right? Not so fast. This approach is creating a clash between league priorities and player support. For rising stars like Caitlin Clark, it could mean a grueling schedule and intense media scrutiny right out of the gate. Is that setting her up for success or burnout? You'd think with all this backlash, Englebert would be packing up her office. But here's the twist. She might not be going anywhere. Why? Because money talks, and the league is raking it in under her leadership. The question is, at what cost? This whole situation is putting a spotlight on a bigger issue in women's sports. How do we balance growing the game with supporting the players who make it all possible? It's not just about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. It's about every player who puts on a WNBA jersey. Englebert's comments have opened up a can of worms. Some argue she's dismissing the real challenges players face, prioritizing profit over their well-being. Others say she's just doing her job, making tough decisions to ensure the league's survival and growth. While the debate rages on about Englebert's leadership, there's another storm brewing. It involves the WNBA's new superstar, a punishing schedule, and a decision that could make or break the league's future. What's really going on with Caitlin Clark's rookie season? Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's schedule. The WNBA gave her 11 games in 20 days. That's not just busy, that's insane. Some people are calling it the gauntlet, and for good reason. It's like they're throwing Clark into the deep end without a life jacket. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't this good for Clark? More games mean more chances to shine, right? Well, not so fast. This schedule is raising some serious questions about player welfare. Imagine trying to perform at your best when you're constantly on the move, barely having time to catch your breath between games. Here's where it gets complicated. Engelbert's not just throwing darts at a calendar. She's making these tough calls to boost viewership and bring in more cash for the league. It's a business move, plain and simple. But at what cost? Some fans are cheering this on, saying it's exactly what the WNBA needs to grow. Others, they're worried sick about Clark. They're asking if this is setting her up for success or just setting her up to burn out before she even gets started. This whole scheduling drama, it's not just about Clark. It's shining a spotlight on a bigger issue in the WNBA. Are they putting profits before players? It's got everyone talking about how the league treats its stars and whether they're doing enough to support them. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What happens if Engelbert stays or goes? If she sticks around, we might see more of this business-first approach. That could mean more tough schedules and more pressure on players like Clark. But if a new commissioner steps in, they might shake things up, focusing more on player welfare and mental health. That could change everything about how the league operates. But wait, there's a twist in this story you need to hear. Remember all that talk about the big rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? The one Engelbert seemed to be pushing? Well, it turns out it might not be as real as we thought. Yeah, you heard that right. All that hype might just be, well, hype. Why does this matter? Because it shows how the league's marketing strategies might be out of touch with what's really going on with the players. They're building up these rivalries, scheduling these intense games, all for the sake of viewership. But at what point does it stop being about basketball and start being about drama? You'd think everyone would want what's best for the players, right? Wrong. There's a shocking reason why a chunk of WNBA supporters are backing Engelbert's controversial approach, and it's tearing the fan base apart. Let's talk about the WNBA fan divide. It's like the league just split into two teams. But this time, it's not about who's on the court. It's all about Commissioner Cathy Englebert and her business-first strategy. Some fans are all for it, thinking it's the key to making the WNBA grow. Others, they're saying it's time for Engelbert to go, arguing she's not looking out for the players. This isn't just about picking sides. It's showing us something bigger about how fans see sports these days. You've got one group saying, hey, we need to make money to keep this league alive. Then you've got another group shouting, but at what cost? We can't burn out our stars. Imagine you're Caitlin Clark, fresh out of college and stepping into this heated atmosphere. On one side, you've got fans cheering for more games, more rivalries, more drama. On the other, you've got people worried about your well-being, asking if you're being pushed too hard too fast. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What happens if one side wins this debate? If team business gets their way, we might see even more intense schedules, more hyped up rivalries, and yeah, probably more money flowing into the league. But if team player welfare comes out on top, we could be looking at a whole new WNBA, one that prioritizes mental health and sustainable careers over quick cash grabs. But wait, there's a twist. You know how in most jobs, if enough people are unhappy with the boss, they can push for change? Well, in the WNBA, it's not that simple. The only way players could force Engelbert out is through a boycott. But here's the kicker. That's super unlikely to happen. Why? Because boycotting means not playing. Not playing means no paychecks. And for many WNBA players, those paychecks are crucial. Plus, the league structure means players don't have as much power as you might think. It's a tough spot to be in. So we're left with this wild situation where fans are fighting it out, players are caught in the middle, and the future of the WNBA hangs in the balance. It's not just about Caitlin Clark or any single player anymore. It's about the whole direction of women's basketball. Some fans are saying, look, we need a profitable league first. Then we can worry about the other stuff. Others are firing back, if we don't take care of our players now, there won't be a league to profit from. So, what's next for the WNBA? It's like the league's at a crossroads. On one side, you've got record profits and growing interest. On the other, players are feeling the heat from tough schedules and social media pressure. It's a tricky balance, right? Think about Caitlin Clark stepping into this mess. She's got fans excited, but she's also facing that crazy schedule. The league's future? It's riding on how they handle this whole situation. Here's the big question: can the WNBA keep growing without burning out its stars? Imagine trying to build a successful league while also protecting players from online hate. It's not easy. The WNBA's got to figure out how to make money and take care of its players at the same time. If they can do that, they might just change the game for women's sports.